Well, a warm welcome to this talk, and we're talking to our friend and colleague in Uganda, Wefwafwa Andrew, who's a medical officer. Welcome, Wefwafwa.
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be speaking to our people on a YouTube community once again.
Now, you're looking very well and healthy, and I'm glad to see that you're alive because you have really been quite ill quite recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I was sick due to malaria, and in Uganda, malaria is very common. It is actually endemic in 98% of the population. So I got the infection, but because I got treatment in time, I was able to survive.
So, is it actually a life-threatening disease, malaria?
Yeah, malaria is very dangerous. It is caused by some parasites. We have parasites like Flospharum, Malaria, Ovel. But in Uganda, we find that majority of the malaria cases are due to Flospharum, which causes the most severe form of malaria. So it causes about 95% of the malaria in Uganda, and it's the one that infected me. So it is very dangerous. It kills children. It kills like all people of ages, but of course it is commonly killing children and the old people. But at least everyone has ever gotten infected with malaria if you have been in Uganda for some good time.
And tragically, some of the children that were on that medical camp when we were there, at least one of those children has died of malaria after that time, haven't they? A very sad situation.
Yeah, we lost a child due to malaria, and not only that one, but even of recent, there are very many people that have reported who could have died due to malaria, but because we were not able to reach like everyone, we do community work, but the population is big and this burden is also big, so it is difficult sometimes to reach those children in time. We have lost very many, even apart from the one we saw at the camp. There are others who are very many who have died due to this condition.
Mm-hmm. So what happened with you? When did you start feeling ill? Were you at home or at work, and what happened?
Yeah, what happened, it was like in the evening, actually, I was in the community for our community work, and I started feeling weakness and some headache with some general body pains. So I went to the nearby health facility and I tested. I was able to travel from the village to town, not the facility that tests was not even in the village. I had to go to town, and then they tested me for malaria, but it turned negative. So I didn't swallow any medicine since it turned negative, because I didn't want to mask the signs and symptoms. I waited. I thought that maybe it was due to fatigue. So I tried to rest, but the following day I was continuing to feel more worse. So the weakness was increasing, the pains were increasing, and the next day I couldn't like go to work because the appetite was not there. So I wasn't feeling well at all. I was just feeling weird. So I had to go back to another place where they tested, and they found that actually I was having malaria.
Mm-hmm. So why was the first test negative and the second test positive?
Yeah, so it could be that it could be the skill of the person who tested, though in most cases, of course, the strip doesn't need uh, a good skill, but the things that are made like strips, there are also factory errors. So sometimes we can have strips that can give a false negative, but of course the signs, since we have been with malaria also for a long time, the signs can never deceive. You can really see, I know that this is malaria. So after it turned negative, I couldn't even suspect any other thing. So I just had to move to another place the following day, and it turned negative. So the problem could have been with the strip or the skill of the person who was testing.
Hmm. So you got two red stripes on the strip, did you? Can we have a look?
Yeah, I have them. This one is the one for the second place. Yeah, it has two lines that shows it is positive, and then this one has one line. So this one is the one that showed that it was negative. Then we have the one that showed that it was positive.
Yeah. So you started feeling ill. I'm guessing you had quite a high fever at that time as well, which was why you were feeling ill.
Yeah, I did. My body temperature was high. I could really feel that, yeah, I was hot. My body was hot. Uh, Generally, the thing is, when malaria comes, it, to many people it looks like simple, but it is something that is very weird. It just messes you up. You can't understand yourself, and in a very short time, and the rate at which it progresses to worsen is very dangerous. So I was feeling a lot of weird signs and symptoms.
Now, because of your clinical background, you were able to recognize the clinical features of malaria. So you went and got tested. Um, what would happen if you were an uneducated person in the village?
Yeah, if I was uneducated, it would have been a different story, and that could be the reason as why many people die in the villages. Now, in the first place, when I got the signs and symptoms, I because at least I was able to get support of reaching the health facility in the first place, so I was able to test. But if I was not, I would have uh, thought of buying some medicine that can relieve the pains that I was having, and that would be any painkiller or anything like paracetamol that will bring the fever down, or diclofenac, just to be able to take away the body pains that I was having. And that is how I could continue. And in the end, the signs and symptoms would be hidden, and the disease would progress, and I would end up dying. But also, if by chance I got tested and it turned out to be negative, in my local thinking, I would think that this would be something that is caused by maybe spirits, that has nothing to do with medical. Because when the result turns negative, in most cases, what people do, they resort to the traditional ways of treating, and some of those people, or the traditional healers, they have no medical knowledge, and they always want money. They have an explanation for every disease, so they would end up deceiving me, and I will not get the medical care, so the result would be dying. So I really thank God that I was lucky, and I was able to test myself, and I started treatment.
And the reason that this falciparum malaria that you have in Uganda, which is the most common form, is so deadly, is it because it can cause cerebral malaria and renal malaria? How does cerebral malaria manifest itself?
Yeah, here cerebral malaria is very dangerous. I have seen several cases of people with cerebral malaria, and those with other complications like renal failure due to malaria. But people who get cerebral malaria, most especially children, you find that they bring them when they are unconscious, and they are in coma. Like, for those of you who know that state when someone cannot be aroused. So if someone will be in coma, will not be understanding, and because of that, they will just be supporting treatment will not be actually only antimalarials, but we put oxygen. Sometimes it even affects the breathing. We feed them through the NG tube. Some of them come when they are convulsing. So it is something that you don't wish to see. Sometimes even people who come with the cerebral malaria, when it has not reached a state when they're in coma, they may manifest with some signs that you may think they have a psychiatric problem. So it is very complex.
Hmm. Now, if someone is admitted to your care in a coma, uh, are you normally able to save their lives?
Yes, if I'm in a facility which has the requirements like the oxygen cylinder, when we are able to transfuse and do those things, it's not a must that those people will survive, because by the time they come, sometimes they come, when they have severe malaria, severe anemia, together with that. So you battle a lot of things. By the time they have cerebral malaria, you have a lot of things. So sometimes you succeed and sometimes you fail. So that is what happens. But when someone is lucky and you get all the things that are needed, maybe blood, the antimalarials, they survive. But sometimes someone may even come when they are in coma, but maybe that family doesn't have money to get the medicine. And you know that the population is also big, and sometimes these medicines are out of stock in those facilities like the regional referral hospital, and that not everyone can be able to reach the regional referral hospital because you don't have an ambulance. They are very far. Some people come even from the mountains, and we have this facility which is in town. So because of that, there are a lot of patients, and we usually run out of those things. That's why it is important for us maybe to try to arrest this thing from the community level, because sometimes there is nothing much that I can do. We try, but people end up dying, and sometimes we are overwhelmed by the numbers.
So when people get cerebral malaria in the villages, do they always die? They'll never just wake up on their own.
They never just wake up on their own. Those ones who don't get the care, it just keeps on progressing. Malaria is something that is very stubborn. It just keeps on creating more problems. Like the more you stay with it when it is not treated, those parasites in the body just keep on increasing. They never reduce. So there is no hope that without intervention, those people will recover. Without proper medication, you die. There is no any other option.
At what time of day are people mostly bitten by the mosquitoes that cause the malaria?
Yeah, mostly in the evening hours, like at around 6 p.m. In the evening and onwards. But malaria with the mosquitoes here is not a rare thing. Even where I'm seated here, I see it like every day there are mosquitoes everywhere. Every day you have to hear a mosquito somewhere. So everywhere there are mosquitoes. Uh, so if you're not protected, and you will get a bite. That sometimes maybe we are bitten sometimes when that mosquito doesn't have a parasite in it, but mosquitoes are everywhere. Every evening there's a mosquito near someone, at least in Uganda. So you can get bitten in the night.
So would it be a good idea for people to sleep under mosquito nets to stop them getting bitten?
Yeah, that is a very great step in trying to prevent the contact. It is very important. It is important to have everyone, if it was possible, would have everyone sleep under a treated mosquito net. Like of recent, we donated over 1,500 mosquito nets to the people. In the villages where we donated, at least it has helped, but of course we were not able to donate to everyone because we didn't have enough supply. But we have a lot of people. We tried to give at least every household, though some missed, but we just gave one per house. But now you find a house has sometimes like 10 people, 15 people, 5, they have children, old people. So one, of course, it will try to help, but it can't address everything. So we do that as we also wait for the government. Maybe at a certain time they may also come in, but we want to save people with what we have. So right now, on top of the mosquito net, we are trying to just teach them generally about malaria and some of other preventive measures that people can adapt apart from just using the mosquito net. But the mosquito net is one of the most, let me see, effective way of reducing the mosquito contact. Because of its low technology, it has been there for long. At least it's not complicated. Everyone knows how to use it. You can teach them and they know how to use it well. So it is very good.
So we can prevent malaria with mosquito nets, and our project must have saved many lives because of the mosquito nets, I would think.
Yes.
But if people still get malaria in the villages, how long is it from when they get the first symptoms of malaria until they go into coma?
So in most cases, it also depends on a person. Like now for me, I think, I don't know, because of exposure, it doesn't really progress very fast. But different people have different levels of immunity. So it varies. For me, I've not been in coma myself because at least I'm able to treat in time. But those ones that I have seen, in most cases, it doesn't exceed like 2 weeks. So if they start feeling the signs and symptoms, within 1 week, they will be bedridden. They will be having some other complications. But in the second week, that's when you find them in coma.
So this first week really is a window of opportunity to treat the malaria. Can we treat it with simple oral anti-malarial medication at that stage?
Yeah, malaria, if detected in time and you start treatment, you have a chance of not getting like bedridden. There's a very high chance if you detect immediately. That's why we teach these people to know the signs and symptoms and everything. Because for me, when I get malaria, I will know. When I just get one sign, I'll know that this must be malaria. And when Uganda test, it is positive. So in most cases, apart from last time where it first turned negative and I had to move in the next day without treatment, that is when I even had to go down, not to go to work. But on the first day when I started feeling the signs and symptoms, if it had turned negative and I got treated, the second day I would have gone for work. I would not have been bedridden.
And if people in the villages take paracetamol, which is the same thing as acetaminophen, will that disguise the symptoms of malaria and allow the disease to get worse?
Yeah, it does. And the funny part of malaria is that those signs are not like constant, they are intermittent. Like they are on and off. That's what I can say. Like you will have the spikes in those signs and symptoms, in most cases late in the evening or late in the night when nothing can be done. So sometimes even a child can play during the day very well when they have malaria, and then at night they get those signs and symptoms. So it is very stubborn.
So when you have a high fever in a malaria episode, you must feel really, really bad, do you?
Yeah, you really feel bad. You really feel bad, and it just comes with other things, no appetite for food. Sometimes you're vomiting. It just brings up everything.
Like you feel so bad, you don't really care whether you live or die. You just feel so, so sick.
Yeah, you just feel so sick, so weak. You lose interest in everything, just like that. It's not a good feeling. It's a very terrible feeling.
So we're going to carry on with more health education. We're going to carry on with more mosquito net distribution. We're going to carry on giving oral antimalarials for early stages of treatment of malaria in the villages. We're going to have a very careful observation of the children to make sure they're not getting malaria, because it just makes me want to cry that some of those children that we saw in the health camp died. It's just completely tragic. And occasionally, when these cases are missed, we're going to treat with intravenous antimalarials for the cases that do become cerebral malaria.
Yeah, it is a terrible thing. We have lost a lot of them, and even as I talk, even if you just went to ward, you'll find a child who is battling for his or her life. So we lose a lot of them. A lot of children die. It pains when you are inside there, and that's why we try every day to make sure that we sensitize people. We try our best to make sure that we deal with this dangerous disease.
So we've got a nationally authorised NGO now that we've started in Uganda. What's that called?
Yeah, our organization is called the Buwanga Way to Health Foundation. We have even the website buwanga.org. I think I will leave in the description the link to it. You can go and check about it. We have been given a license to operate for 5 years, and now we can operate anywhere in Uganda.
This is all completely legal and transparent.
Yes, it is illegal wherever we go. We are allowed to be there. The government is aware of the activities that we are doing, and now we are even ready to partner or to work with the other organizations, the churches, everyone who is willing to work with our organization is now very free to work with us. There is nothing to worry about. Now we can receive any amount of money because the government even knows us now. We don't have now a limit. It is a legal entity.
Are you getting any government funding at the moment?
No, at the moment we are not getting any government funding. Actually, most of the people were in the region where we are serving. I think on the health camp, when you're there, you saw that we had a representative from the Ministry of Health. So most of them are actually now looking at us because of the population. Uh, Sometimes things that come from government, they may take long. So most of the health officials and the people are actually now looking at us. We are the hope that is always present because we are always with them. We are not paid by anyone to go and serve the people. We are motivated internally. So that has really given people hope, and they really want to always receive care from us because we are always there. But sometimes when you are just employed or maybe a government worker, it sometimes to some people it is not something that is at heart. You know, you go get paid to go and see those ones who are able to come to the health facility. How about those ones who are not able to get transport to the health facility? So we are looking for everyone, even those ones who don't get the chance of reaching the health facilities.
If I send you some more money, can you save some more lives?
Yeah, if you did, a lot of lives can be saved. Just like you've seen in the past, we always have a lot of people. Actually, the thing is resources. In most cases, we only do up to what we have. So sometimes we stop when we run out of resources, but there is great need. Whatever we receive, we make sure that it is used very well and it is used for the right purpose. And in most cases, I deal with the people direct, like some people will donate and they will want that money to do a specific thing. So sometimes we work together and that money will go and do what you really want in the community. And some people will just say that just use it the way you see it fit. So I distribute that money, but I always publish the information on YouTube. But there are those people that we are not able to publish on YouTube. Like there is a child who is battling with the sickle cell and is having malaria also at the same time, is in a very terrible state. We couldn't publish it on YouTube, but still we are using the resources that we got from people who watched. So there are some things that you will never see on YouTube, but there is work ongoing because we respect the privacy of people. People who we put on YouTube are people who have consented. But even those ones who don't consent, we can't refuse to help them just because we are not going to capture them. So there is a lot that is going on in the community because of what we receive from the people.
This partnership that's made Buwanga possible has come from YouTube and the work we've done together. I think that's how it started. So this is one of the really positive things to come out of YouTube, I think.
Yeah, it is really good. It has been able to connect us, people from different places. Yes, there are other bad things, but at least that one, with the work that is already going on in the community, we have the milling house going on. We have a lot of things on ground just because of the people who came through YouTube. So I'm really grateful.
And I'd just like to say to everyone, I had the privilege of working with Wefwafwa last September. Last September, wasn't it, Wefwafwa now? And I know that I know that the medicine is well practiced, and I know that all of the resources go to where they're supposed to go. So, Wefwafwa, I'm delighted that you're better from your malaria. Is that you? Are you cured now? It won't come back. You're completely cured.
I'm now sure, but there is a possibility of reinfection. I treated, so I have to again uh, continue sleeping under a treated mosquito net. Think I got a bite from the community. Sometimes we leave late, but at least I'd really taken care. I'd taken long for over a year without getting it, but it got me. So me, I am careful to that level, but it got me. How about those ones who really don't know anything? So that's why you find that some people are actually treating malaria almost every month. But yeah, for me, I will now be very careful.
And of course, the children are at particular risk. Well, we're trying to help everyone, but to save the lives of children is a particularly good thing to do.
Yeah, children are a priority because in most cases they don't know what to do, and you can't tell them to adhere to something. Sometimes they play from outside until late, and you can't stop them from playing. But we are trying to design all materials to favor these children and even adults. Soon we are going to enter even schools where we are going to design programs for teaching these children such that we have everyone on board.
Yeah. And have you got a stock of anti-malarials that we've bought that you can give out if we need them in the villages?
Yeah. If I get them, we can give to the people just like we did some few weeks ago. We gave some. Of course, people are always very many. Those are the people we didn't even inform. Those are just the people who came for our meeting. But you saw the numbers they turned out, and there were very many. Yeah.
Okay, Wefwafwa, I'm glad you're so much better. Thank you for telling us about your personal suffering. But it's something that I really think can be used to help many people, and anyone watching this video, of course, can get involved in any way that they like. They can communicate with you, they can donate, they can subscribe to your channel, click like on the videos. All these things help.
Yeah, they do.
Thank you for watching.
You're welcome. Bye.